Hey, I'm Daniel, and today I'm going to be showing you what an inspector does when they come over to your house to do a scope of work assessment. So in this scenario, the client was complaining about a leaky roof and some discoloration that appeared in their garage, along with some symptoms that they get once they spend a little too much time in their garage. So they contacted us to take a look and see if the discoloration that they see is mold. So this is a moisture meter, and I'm going to be using it to see if there's any active moisture inside of the building materials. Having active moisture in the building materials is one of the main causes of mold growth. By using the moisture meter, we found that there is active moisture in the sheathings of the ceiling in the garage. We were also able to follow the active moisture to find out how much of the building materials were compromised. So next up, I'm going to be using the thermal imaging camera to see if there's any other areas in the ceiling of the garage that may have an active leak. So what I'm looking for here is any thermal anomalies. Thermal anomalies could be due to one of two things. The first one is if there's a water intrusion. The second one is if there's an air leak or inadequate insulation. If you look at the bottom left corner of my screen, you can see that there's one sheathing area that's a lot darker than the rest. And when you look at the actual ceiling, you see that there's a lack of insulation in that area, and that's why it appears to be colder. We would know that there's a leak by seeing an area that's fully insulated and still has a thermal anomaly. Once we see that on the thermal imaging camera, we would go to that area of the ceiling and inspect it by using a moisture meter to prove that there is an active leak going on in that area. So the two areas of concern where discoloration was observed is along the lower portion of the wall and the higher portion of the wall. The discoloration in both these areas appears to have the same characteristics as mold growth. So we're going to be performing an instant swab test to see if the discoloration is fungal in nature. So according to the instant swab test, the discoloration that was swabbed was fungal in nature. If the liquid inside of the swab test turns purple, it means it's positive for fungal growth, and if it turns green, it means it's negative. So after doing a visual and diagnostic inspection of the garage area, it was found that the discoloration along both sections of the wall was positive for fungal growth. The discoloration along the ceiling of the garage area appears to only be due to water staining. It doesn't have any of the patterns or characteristics of mold growth, and therefore it doesn't require any professional mold remediation, versus the walls, they would require that. The next step is to perform a Tapelift sample to identify what species of mold are growing on the wall. This sample will be sent to a third-party lab to get the results. So now you know what goes on in a scope of work assessment. So we didn't take an air sample in this case because the garage area is considered an outdoor environment. The air samples are only meant for the indoor environment. We wouldn't take one in the garage area or the attic area. So if you want to learn more about mold and protect yourself and your family against it, please visit bustmold.com. Have a great day.
To become an expert in identifying mold in your home, and if you want to learn more about molds and other fungi, check our mold library on bustmold.com and subscribe to our channel.